This meeting.
Good evening. Welcome to Fort Vancouver Regional Library District Board of Trustees meeting. I'm now calling this meeting to order. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, I move this to a roll call vote, please.
Reed Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
She's not online. Okay, she's likely going to join us later, but she'll be late.
Christy Morgan,
Aye.
Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarina,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
Aye.
Motion passes. We're going to jump right into public comments tonight. As usual, you will have 2 minutes to speak. We'll take an hour to hear comments. Please no clapping or noise during or between speakers. No inappropriate language. Please be respectful of one another and direct your comments up to the board, not to the audience. No playing of recordings or videos, and make sure you say your name when you come up to speak. There's a xylophone mat for you to stand on so you know where to go. And we'll go ahead and get started.
Our first with virtual public comment is Quill Onstead. Please unmute yourself.
Ready when you are. Hi, my name is Quill Onstead and my pronouns are they, them. I'm here to speak in support of Drag Queen Story Hour as a genderqueer member of the library community. There's a lot going on in the world right now. While I keep a pretty strict news diet, things still filter in. But even I heard about Larry Jones from Wisconsin. Just in case you missed it, Mr. Jones initially showed up to the state capitol to support a bill banning gender-affirming care for trans youth. After listening to people speak both for and against the bill for 7 hours, he signed up to make a comment. He admitted to not knowing very much about, quote, gay people and things like that. My perspective for people has changed. I would like to apologize for being here, and I learned a very lot about this group of people, end quote. In an interview with Wisconsin Public Radio, Mr. Jones said that he was going to spend the next 6 months learning about the trans community. I bet he can find some books at his local library to help with that. Maybe he'd even check out a Drag Queen Story Hour. Mr. Jones's willingness to listen to a group of people talk about their lived experiences in the world today and admit to being wrong shouldn't be a heroic act, but it is. Drag Queen Story Hour is a vital program that teaches kids about gender identity in an age-appropriate manner. Parents who do not approve of Drag Queen Story Hour do not have to bring their children to any Drag Queen Story Hour programs. Please allow the staff of FVRLibraries to present Drag Queen Story Hour and have the district live up to the ideals espoused in FVRLibraries' equity statement. Thank you for your service to the community.
Next we have, that is our only virtual comment. Next in the room, we have Randy Schmidt. Randy will be followed by Gary Wilson and then Margot Logan.
Standing on Redux.
Yes, please.
With a xylophone.
Yes.
Well, thank you for allowing me to speak today. I request the opposite, that you
Don't forget to say your name for us, please.
I'm sorry?
Your name, please.
I'm sorry, Randy Schmidt.
Thanks.
I request that you develop a policy to ban Drag Queen Story Hours from the library. The United States this last election has rejected the tenets of the trans movement. We have not rejected people who are trans, but we have rejected the truth claims that the trans movement makes. Men don't become women and women do not become men. And your constituents also don't believe that women should be, or that men should invade women's private spaces or force women to undress in front of men. The trans movement will speak out against us for banning things and against us for being uninclusive. But the trans movement is also guilty of this in the same way. They attempt to force Amazon from selling books that they don't agree with, that say their worldview isn't correct, such as When Harry Became Sally, responding to the transgender moment by Ryan Anderson. They also attempt to cancel people who don't agree with their ideas in the public place. Everybody should remember Dave Chappelle 2 years ago. The Drag Queen Story Hour intent, based on their own website, is to cause confusion, gender confusion, within the young people that they talk to. The adults in the room should stand up for our children so they can develop both mentally, emotionally, and physically as their bodies were designed without gender confusion. So please prohibit drag queen story hours through an official policy to protect the children in our community. Thank you.
What's up, Gary Wilson?
Gary Wilson. Thank you, library board members, for your service, and just keep it simple as usual. Please continue to err on the side of caution when it comes to programming for your most vulnerable patrons, the children. Enjoy the evening. It's beautiful out there. Thanks.
What's up, Margot Logan? Will be followed by Dwight Holler, followed by Jarek Isley.
I'm Margot Logan. I was going to offer another book, this one on disease, vaccines, and the forgotten history. But I think I will add to this conversation because I was a Child Protective Services investigator. And when I hate using these words, but in terms of what happened in libraries and in schools, with these men who come and they dress up as ugly, made-up women, is that in 2016 in North Carolina, the whole bathroom thing started by a convicted sex offender who was a pastor to a group of gay youth there. And so this thing continues just to kind of unroll, and children are at risk. There shouldn't be any men coming into bathrooms, into libraries, why men want to have an audience of children. And the first drag guy that came to Vancouver, Claire, apparently, he had a video of Miss Frizzle and the Magic School Bus where he's dressed up like that. The Magic School Bus comes out, a dildo comes out of that. He does oral sex acts on the Magic School Bus and anal simulation. This is not for children. And the very fact that the former director saw the video, I have the email where she said she saw that video and she approved him to come in. So this is not just something that's a little dress up dance thing. It goes deeper than that. And people who do want to harm children use cartoons that they love
Thank you.
to pull them into sex.
Next, we have Dwight Holler.
Hello, Dwight Holler. I have to apologize. I signed up by mistake. I misunderstood the agenda, so I declined the opportunity. So apologies.
Awesome. Jared Isaac.
Good afternoon, board of trustees of the Vancouver Regional Libraries and citizens. My name is Jared Essig. I'm a scholar of Aristotelian philosophy and of the Hebrew and Greek Bible. These were the texts on which the curriculum of the medieval universities were based, and it's very hard to find these texts in any of the libraries that I visit. Although I'm a resident of Clackamas County, some of my students are in this county. I often have to schlep around the copies of the original text so that we can study. I have a copy with me here of the Hebrew Torah, the Pentateuch, and the Christian Testament. The reason why this is important is because dogmatic misinterpretations are often found in most of the Christian Bibles, which are in circulation in your branches. And in the reference sections, you can find a concordance, Strong's Concordance, the Vine's Bible Dictionary, the Theological Word Book of the Old Testament. By the way, the term Old Testament is never found anywhere in the New Testament. It's called the Law and the Prophets. So these are examples of the ways in which students lack access to the original intent of the authors. So I'm asking you to, in addition to these tertiary sources in your reference sections, make available for reference a copy of each of the primary sources, Hebrew Bible, either or bilingual copy or and the Greek New Testament, so that students will be able to analyze what they're taught in their churches or their schools or elsewhere and be able to critically understand it. You don't have to become a scholar. You don't have to go to seminary to learn a verse or a blessing or the origin of a word, or to research the translations to see if they're accurate. And this principle in general holds for works other than the Bible. For every tertiary source in your reference sections, you should make available alongside the primary source on which it's derivative. For example, if you have the Revised Code of Washington, all 91 titles of it, you should have the Washington State Constitution as well. And if you have the Dictionary of Shakespeare, you should have the collected works of Shakespeare in reference. So I encourage you to make that available to your students.
Next up, we have Charles Horseshoe. Charles will be followed by Marilyn Dryden.
Hello, trustees. I'm Charles Forshew. When I wrote down what I wanted to talk about was simply to talk about how great libraries are. I didn't really have much more to say than that, but I have my whole life thought of libraries as being sacrosanct, as being kind of immune to very much kind of criticism and attack. And yet I feel like public libraries are now being attacked in a way we've never seen before. At the federal level with the closing down of the IMLS, at the state level in so many states where laws that can only be described as draconian are being passed to undermine and subvert the purpose and the mission of public libraries, and putting librarians themselves in the position of having to enforce laws in a way that that are antithetical to their own values. Libraries are in need of defense, and it needs to be a very aggressive defense. And I think we're going to have a chance in this community in the coming months to do something about that. One of the things I hear a lot of people describe how they feel about what's happening in the country. They describe themselves as being heartbroken. And I want to read a poem that's short by a poet, Australian poet called Michael Leunig, called When the Heart. When the heart is cut or cracked or broken, do not clutch it. Let the wound lie open. Let the wind from the good old sea blow in and bathe the wound with salt and let it sting. Let a stray dog lick it. Let a bird lean in the hole and sing a simple song like a tiny bell and let it ring.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Marilyn Dryden.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Dryden. I didn't come here tonight intending to speak to you. I came intending to learn. But I just wanted to tell you that one of my earliest, happiest memories is walking alongside my mother with my sister as we walked a mile and a quarter up to our local library. And it was a life enriching experience that helped me love books, which I still come to our little Washougal library here and get books. I was here just the other day. But I just want to speak on behalf of my children and grandchildren who use the library regularly. I never go in there without seeing DRY on a little piece of paper sticking out from a book. But I just think the children, especially the children of Washougal, would be so enriched by having a bigger space and a nicer space. So I'm just here to say, as a Washougal citizen, I would love to see a bigger, more expansive Washougal library. Thank you.
Thank you all for your comments. I'm now closing the public comment portion of the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented? So moved. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Any further discussion? Okay, I move this to a vote, please.
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Flournoy Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges. Christy Morgan,
Aye.
Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarina,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
Aye.
Motion to approve the consent agenda is adopted. Next, we move on to reports. The February 2025 financial statements with Good evening. For your February financial report, starting on page 19 of the packet, I want to point out that the cash balance is 14.7, just under 14.7 million. This is a decrease of just over 3.5 million from the beginning of the year. We do expect this, as we know, we start out the year pulling down our fund balance before the majority of our property taxes come in, or half of them estimated in April and then the other half in October. So don't be too alarmed. We expect the cash to continue to go down until April. We are meeting our 60-day reserve test. Currently, we are not meeting our 90-day reserve test. Again, that's why we have the 60 to 90 days. We know in the months where we're drawing down on fund balance, we can get close to that 60 days. So again, don't be too alarmed. I expect that to right in April. Any questions on page 19, the cash page, before we go to revenues? Okay. So page 20 of your packet shows our revenues through February, or for February and through February. All of our revenues are meeting or exceeding our expectations year to date. Of course, our property taxes there are just at 2%, which we would expect until April when we get a good portion of those coming in. I will point out under charges for services, our non-resident borrower fees are trending quite a bit above budget projection. And our investment interest is also trending above budget projection so far. Any questions on revenues before we go to page 21 and talk about expenses? Yes.
Which libraries are above your projections in terms of non-resident? Do you know?
Woodland. Woodland. The majority of it comes from Woodland.
Thank you.
Okay. Page 21. Overall, our expenditures through February are also meeting our expectations. We are trending below the 17%. So if we break up our budget into 12 equal months, we would expect to be seeing a 17% average. We are below that overall at 13%. This does meet our expectations. We have some big things coming up, and so this will right size middle of the year through second and third quarter. Our personnel budget is still slightly below expectations as we continue to fill vacancies. Under supplies, I will point out under supplies, the technology line is at 33%. This is because, as we talked quite a bit about previously, we purchased BiblioCommons. So that came on early in the year. So we're above our percent on that line item. And professional collection technology is slightly above the 17% at 18% because of annual subscription licenses there. Other thing I will point out on this page is under capital outlay, we continue to see and pay costs for the Woodland Library. That is wrapping up. So far, we have paid
through February, just under $7,000, just under $6,000. Sorry about that. And these are costs that we continue to get reimbursement from the foundation on. Any questions on expenditures? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there a motion to receive and file the February 2025 financial statements as presented?
So moved.
Second. Is there any further discussion? Move this to a vote.
Kate Colby,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Hodges, Christy Morgan,
Aye.
Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irene Kakarina,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have Zoe Nash, the Washougal Branch Report.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for being here tonight. My name is Nash. I am the branch manager here. And we'll get started in just a second. Thank you for the reminder.
Are you going to start the slideshow? There you go.
Yeah, I think it's good. Perfect. Already started. Okay, so as many of you know, we are fundraising for a new library. And I found this fun flyer in one of our friends' scrapbooks. And it's from 1981 when the library next door was open. And it talks about the new current space being 4 times larger than the old space. And our new library is going to be 4 times larger than that space. So I just thought it was really fun, kind of full circle to see that, and glad that we have hung on to that. So Washougal wouldn't be the welcoming place that it is without our helpful staff. So we're open 6 days a week. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 through 6. And we have 6 staff members, including myself. I have 2 full-time and then 4 part-time staff. And we like to have a good time. So this last year in 2024, we circulated over 89,000 materials. And that's quite a bit higher than a lot of the other smaller branches that are our size. And we had 47,000 people visit our branch. And as you can see, our card holders kind of keep going up and up every year. We are a small library, but we do offer lots of programming. We had 219 programs in 2024, and we had over 2,600 people attend those programs. We have tons of weekly, monthly programs. Some of them are here. So we have a story time, kids create, read to a dog, STEM lab. We have a tween teen tabletop role-playing game club, tween craft and chat, teen hangout. There's more. One of the highlights from this past year was our family tech petting zoo. And this was a program that was grant funded and it went around to all of our libraries. But it's a bunch of tech toys that the kids got to play with. And not just kids, we had all ages, actually. We had some teens, which I was really excited to see. We had some youngers and some littles and some adults that were there too. And the biggest hit was the cublets. And so you can see those in the top right and left. And we had kids that stayed after the program was over and I was kind of cleaning up, but they were kept playing and they were so into it. So that was such a huge hit. And we're going to have that again later this year because it was really fun. Another highlight this last year was our summer reading program. So these are some of our performers. I love the one on your right here. I just love that she's laughing and like having such a good time. And then also the toilet paper was a fun one too. The kids really enjoyed that. And we had a 5% increase last year from the previous year. So we're going to keep upping our numbers for our summer reading program. Another big success this past year with our summer program was our teens. We saw a lot of teen engagement this past summer, which teens are hard to get into our library sometimes. So it was really, really exciting to see them come to our programs that we had. We had a tie-dye program. So we did that just outside here. And we just had teens, just more teens just kept coming and coming, and it was really exciting. And then we also had an escape room. We had to add a second session just because we had so many kids that were excited to come do that. So that's a big win for us, just to see those kids come and want to hang out at the library. And then for our adults, we also have programs for adults. So we've had Master Gardener programs. We've had a zine program with a poet laureate. We had an author talk with the Blind Woodsman. If you don't know, is a local author. He's blind and he does amazing woodworking pieces. We have his book in the library. You should check it out. We do a book group. So you can see my book group is very excited about this book that we read last year. And then the photo below that is our zine program. And that program is in a space that the city lets us use that is across the street. And another big program for adults is our winter wreath program. We had 25 plus, and we would have had more if we had more space, but we didn't have enough space. So we had to cap it. As you can see, it's quite full in that space. It's a program that has been going on since before I was here, and it's always such a huge hit, and we love to do it. And when we're not in the branch, we're out doing outreach. So we have some regular outreach events that we go to. We do some teen book talks at Akin Triple Point. We visit the Washougal schools. We go to Recovery Cafe, a multicultural night at the Washougal School District. And then just a couple one-offs that the city does, like the Waka and the National Arts or National Night Out. So we're always kind of out in the community as well. And another thing are our partnerships. So we partner with lots of organizations in the community. I would say one of the big ones and one of the successful ones is Meals on Wheels. So Meals on Wheels works out of this room, and they bring hot food, or they bring food to seniors in the community, and some of those seniors receive books as well when they get their food. We're also working on another partnership, which is really exciting right now. It's currently happening with the Washougal School District. It's called Reading in Action. It's a program where we get 10 to 15 families together, and we discuss books. We encourage those kind of reading comprehension and communication and critical literacy skills. So it's a 4-week program, and we had our first one not last week, but the week before. And so we'll have another one this week for 4 weeks. And that's been really exciting and really fun just to see the families come together and get excited about reading books and talking about books with their family. Yeah, and then we also partner with the city for lots of things. You know, they let us use this space. They let us use the other space across the street, which is fantastic because if you have not been next door, it's small. So it's nice to have some extra space. And then I want to highlight our friends of the library. They are fantastic. They do all kinds of fundraisers for us. Last year they had a book sale. They had an Art for Art with Washougal Arts and Cultural Alliance. They have a monthly soul line dancing program. We partner with a local restaurant that has a monthly day that they give us a portion of their proceeds. We've sold items at the Washougal Holiday Bazaar. We've had bingo. So our friends are very resourceful in finding ways to raise money and raise awareness for our library project. One of the big things that they did last year was Pumpkin Bash, first annual. So hopefully there'll be another one. And it was very fun. You can see here we have some pumpkin smashing and lots of fun pumpkin related activities. And then another kind of fun thing about the library is our seed library. So if you don't know, we have a seed library at the library. So people can come and check out seeds. They plant those seeds, then end of the season, they bring back seeds, and then it just perpetuates year after year. And this is a cool project because this project was requested by community members. And so back in 2018, we got it started in response to a community request. And it's incredibly popular, so we love to have it. Any questions? Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you. Next is FVRL organizational report with Alicia.
While Alicia is walking up here, I will just start by saying, you know, we have thousands of programs every year with tens of thousands of people that come to those programs and enjoy so much of what the library does and connects them, whether it's in our buildings or through outreach such as Zoe highlighted. And I think what is important to understand is that we every month hear from a small group of people about Drag Queen Story Hour, both for and against, and we hear that. We haven't had a Drag Queen Story Hour since 2019. I think it's really important to say that as we go into a year where we're going to be out in the community talking about all the wonderful things that the library does. And I wish that we would have more public coming to speak to all the great things the library is doing. So I felt compelled to say that tonight. The fact that we also are launching a strategic planning effort anytime now, where it will include deep public engagement all around our 4,200 square mile district to really help people to tell us what they want from their library. What is the next chapter going to look like? So with that, what else are we up? What have we been up to?
Yeah, so many amazing things. So first I'll talk a little bit about Cascade Park. Seed libraries are popular across our locations. Clark County Food Bank presents a program at Cascade Park, Seed to Supper. The branch manager noted that it's been a really impactful class. The food bank also donates seeds to the seed library to keep it replenished. So that's a really great one. La Center worked with 4-H, their extension office, and they hosted a backyard chicken program. And who doesn't love a backyard chicken program? So the La Center High School 4-H students delivered an engaging and informative presentation, and they had the Bantam Leghorn show chickens so that people could meet them. So I just thought that that was really fun. Several of the branch managers talked about the history of women's clubs in the public library. That was a district program that was also presented at La Center, but Dorinda, the branch manager there, had just noted that a lot of their library's friends groups attended and contributed their own stories and insights. And it was just a really enriching program with personal and historical context, which was really important. Ridgefield, their homeschool hangout is very successful. On March 17th, they welcomed 17 families to be able to connect through learning and social time. So that's a really important aspect of what we do too, just being able to welcome those families in and provide resources. This is a fun one, and some of you have probably already heard about it. There was a write-up in the Columbian and also aired on KGW, but we had a book returned to our Stevenson location that had been checked out since 1989. It was a Danielle Steele novel, and the staff, there were some inserts and flyers from 1989 that were still tucked into the book. So we just thought that that was a really fun story. It's on both the Stevenson and FVRL Facebook pages, but again, it's also had a write-up in the paper and on TV. So we just thought that that was really special.
That fine must have been really big, right?
You're fine free. The Vancouver Mall continues to engage in outreach. They participated in Read Across America Day at Orchards Elementary School. The staff there was able to engage with about 270 students during that celebration. Staff were able to read to the students. They also extended the experience. The kids were given take-home crafts and, of course, activities to encourage literacy activities at home. Vancouver, again, was written up in the Columbian and talked about all of the great spring break activities. And Vancouver managers just noted that after that, they had a lot of folks coming in and asking questions, and they saw a lot more attendance. So that was really great to be able to provide that programming during spring break when the kids are out of school. And then the last thing I want to share, which is a little sad and bittersweet, but Jennifer Howen, our beloved Woodland Library manager, is leaving the district and retiring at the end of April. And we've talked a lot about Woodland the last several months, so we all know she was very instrumental in the planning, construction, and opening of the new library. As a branch manager, she's fostered strong partnerships with the Friends of the Library group there, which have done amazing things and raising so much money to help with that project. So we're all a little sad, but we're all wishing her the best. There is going to be an open house hosted by the Friends on this Friday, the 25th at 3:30. We've gotten the information late, but if any of you are able to pop by, I'm sure that that would be appreciated. So just wanted to make a note of that. So. All right, well, thank you all.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
And Olga Hodges is now online. So if we can pin her, please.
Next, we'll move into the business portion of our meeting, starting with the Facilities and Finance Committee, the staff report for the 2025-7 levy lid lift service plan options.
It's a mouthful,
It is.
isn't it?
It is.
So we have been talking about the levy lid lift since last September. And in January is when the board voted to put the levy lid lift on the August 5th ballot. And since that time, we've been considering service plan options. And we spent a lot of time at the special board meeting on April 3rd, digging into those options, and then in your committee meetings as well. So at this time, I'm not going to go through all of the information again. It is in your packet, and I am certainly willing to answer any questions. But the goal this evening is to decide which of the pass option and which of the fail options that you will, as a board of trustees, vote on so that we can move forward to share that publicly as we enter into our information campaign portion of the year. So are there any questions that I can answer at this time? And I did at your place give you a high-level summary sheet of each of the options that was separate from your packet to make it easier for you.
So the way this vote will run tonight is we are going to vote first on the levy pass. I just want to be sure we're all clear what how we're voting. If the levy passes, there's option 1. These are in no particular order. Option 1, option 2. Option 1 will be service levels maintained. So I'll take your votes on that. If that passes, we won't proceed to option 2. If option 1 fails, we'll proceed to option 2. And then as far as the, if it fails, there are 2 options as well. So again, if option 1 passes, so I'll be saying clearly what we're voting on in the moment, but if option 1 passes, we won't move on to 2. And if option 1 fails, we'll move on to 2.
And if I may, Trustee Morgan, that obviously this is a extremely difficult decision, especially on the fail side. No one wants to fail. No one wants to see our library system in decline. So you have a very difficult job. I feel like you're well prepared to make a decision and vote your conscience. I think it's important on the pass side as well to really understand the difference of these two. The first option sustains the current level of service. It does also ensure that we will open the Washougal Community Library in 2027 as part of the funding. And in option 2, it is adding 13% of hours district-wide, as well as building the Washougal Community Library, and also anticipating a new community library in 2030 with a location to be determined based on our master's facilities planning process this year. And so everyone across the district would be impacted by those additional hours. And then Clark County would also receive a bookmobile. So the other 2 counties have bookmobiles, but this bookmobile in Clark County would allow us to do further outreach, especially into North Clark County, where we've had such high growth and we don't always have buildings to serve them. As Christy said, she's going to be calling for a vote. One of these options or some option does need to pass. So if they both fail, we'll go back and have further conversation tonight. But one option does have to pass for the pass option. On the fail options, the first option is significant upfront reductions, meaning 30% of open hours and staff will be cut in 2026. We will not open a Washougal Community Library or any other libraries. And there will be a closure of the Vancouver Mall Library at the end of its lease term in 2028. And we will also not be adding any bookmobile. So very steep reduction. And we will be required to maintain at least $500,000 in the budget for future levy lid lifts to be put on future ballots. Option 2 is a minimal annual reduction, which aligns the reduction to the 60 to 90-day fund balance that we have to have. So it anticipates what revenue is and how to balance that budget. And so the anticipation is a 15% cut instead of 30. So obviously cut in half, which also is a 15% cut in staffing. Same as the other option, no new buildings, no bookmobile, enclosure of the Vancouver Mall Library in 2028, and continuing to fund the $500,000 annually until a levy lid lift is passed.
Are there any questions or anything else you want to discuss before we start voting?
One question on levy lid lift fail on option number 2. You require a 500K budget for to put it back on the ballot. And it's like the cut happens once and then twice. Is it theoretical that in between those that the levy could pass before another cut? Okay.
I mean, sure, it's, it's theoretical that that could happen. I think that, yes, so the 15% cut still allows us to go back as soon as the board chooses, which would be not until 2026 at the earliest. And likely not until August at the earliest of 26, because the cost of the spring elections are much higher. And so, it could pass. Then if it failed in 25, which it will likely not, but if it did, we would be able to go back in 26. If it failed, then we would continue every year to make cuts. And as those cuts will be anywhere from 7 to 16% per year from 2027 on. And by 2030, we will have cut 46% of open hours and staff if it doesn't pass before then.
46%?
Yes.
Did you tell us before what year the bookmobiles are, how old they are?
So the bookmobile that we would be adding is for Clark County, so it would be brand new. As far as the age of the bookmobiles in Skamania and Clickitat, I believe, and Dave probably knows this better than I do, 7 years old.
Okay.
So it's reasonable that we can continue to run those.
Yes. We keep them in good working order.
Olga, can you hear us?
Olga, you're on mute.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
There you are. Great, thank you.
Yes.
Considering the discussion in the case that the levy lid lift should pass, is there a motion to approve service option 1, service levels maintained?
I so move. Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, I move this to a vote, please.
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges,
Aye.
Christy Morgan,
No.
Mary Williams,
No.
Irina Kakarina,
No.
Megan Dugan.
Aye.
Motion passes with service levels maintained. So we will now move on to, I'm at spot. This is for if the levy fails. Considering the discussion in the case that the levy lid lift should fail, is there a motion to approve service option 1 with significant upfront reductions?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, I move this to a vote, please.
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges,
I'm sorry, I misheard it. Are we doing the one with significant reductions?
Yes, that's correct.
Aye.
Christy Morgan,
Aye.
Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarina,
No.
Megan Dugan.
No.
Motion for significant upfront reductions passes.
Can you make sure Olga understood the last vote? Because I think she wasn't here.
Yeah, Olga, can you hear me okay?
Sorry, guys, it's cutting in and out a little bit. I apologize. I made a mistake on the first vote, actually.
Okay. Let me think for a second. I just rewind and we do the vote over again, right? Okay. So I want to make sure, Olga, you also understood the second one as well. So let's start over with the first vote. So everyone, we're going to retake the vote on levy passing, service levels maintained, maintaining service levels.
No additional hours.
No additional hours.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. I was looking at the summary and trying to look at the screen at the same time. So I am actually
Okay.
wanting
So-
to be, yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. I'm just gonna run the vote again and then we'll make it official that this is our vote. So go ahead and, so let me just say, considering discussion in the case that the levy lid lift should pass, is there a motion to approve service option 1 where service levels are maintained?
I so move. Second.
Move to a vote, please.
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges,
Nay.
Christy Morgan,
No.
Mary Williams,
No.
Irina Kakarina,
No.
Megan Dugan.
Aye.
This motion fails. So we are going to move on to considering discussion in the case that the levy lid lift should pass. Is there a motion to approve service option 2? I'm sorry. fail, I'm saying the same thing over again, fail. Considering the discussion that the case that the levy lid lift should fail, is there a motion to approve service option? Okay, now I'm all messed up. We have to do the second part of the first one.
It's okay.
Holy moly, sorry, everybody. Okay. So that failed. We're moving on.
On the pass.
I know, we're moving on to the second part of pass. So try again. Considering discussion in the case that the levy lid lift should pass, is there a motion to approve service option 2 with the increase in service hours? Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
I move this to a vote, please.
Marie Coffey,
No.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges,
Aye.
Christy Morgan,
Aye.
Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarina,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
No.
Motion to approve an increase in service hours passes. Now we are going to repeat the vote for if the levy lid lift should fail. And Olga, so this first part is significant upfront reductions, and that's what we're voting on first. So considering a discussion in the case that the levy lid lift should fail, is there a motion to approve service option 1, significant upfront reductions?
So moved. Second.
Move this to any further discussion. Okay, move this to a vote, please.
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges,
Aye.
Christy Morgan,
Aye.
Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarina,
No.
Megan Dugan.
No.
Motion for significant upfront reductions passes. I know that that was hard for everyone on the board and not, one of the more fun topics we've had to consider or discuss. So thank you all for your time on that. One second here. Give me 1 second, sorry. There you go. We had to fill this in now because we weren't sure how it was going to go, obviously, so it took a moment here. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution 2025-6? Just double checking. Levy lid lift service plan with the service plan options determined to be pass increase in hours, levy pass option number 2, an increase in hours. And if it fails, the reduction option would be significant reduction. Is there a motion to pass? To move. Thank you.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, I move this to a vote, please.
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges,
Aye.
Christy Morgan,
Aye.
Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarina,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
No.
Motion to approve the resolution 2025-6 levy lid lift service plan is adopted. 2 minutes back right now. So we're finished with the business portion. We're on to board comments now. I'll start it. There was no easy answers to any of this and pros and cons on both sides. It was probably one of the toughest decisions I've had to make. So thank you all for your work on this. Anyone else would like to make a comment tonight?
Yeah, I want to apologize for the miscommunication and for the abrupt change that people had to experience by my poor connection here.
It's okay.
I agree with you, Christy. We've been talking about this since September and it has been a lot of numbers. It's been very hard. But thank you, Jennifer, for answering my question, because when I hear 46% is the worst case scenario on that option, even though the upfront reductions hurt the most, I feel like it helps the library get back faster to where we want it to be.
Any other comments from the board?
Thank you, Jennifer, for all the work that you are doing and will be doing for the next several months.
Well, it's a
You're
team
committing
effort
to it.
for sure.
Yes, thank you.
All right, the setting for the next regular meeting is Monday, May 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Stevenson Community Library and hybrid on Zoom. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting? Is
I so move.
there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for coming.